I start my day early. I walk to the store before the sun is high. The air is cool. My steps are slow because I am still tired. But I say to myself, it is fine. I can work. I can do this. When I open the store door, the smell of dust and cardboard comes to me. This smell is normal now. I work in a small shop that sells home items. We have boxes everywhere. We always need to open them, cut them, move them, and place things on shelves. My boss is already inside. He looks at me quickly and says, "Morning, we have many boxes today. Move fast." I smile, like I always do. "Okay," I say. I wash my hands. My hands feel cold and dry. Then I walk to the back room and see the tall stack of boxes. They look heavy. I take a deep breath. I take a cutter from the table. The metal feels sharp even before I touch it to a box. I say quietly to myself, "Be careful today." I start cutting the first box. The sound of paper and tape tearing fills the room. I move fast because I know my boss is watching. He does not like slow workers. He says slow workers waste time, and time is money. I open one box, then another. My mind starts to drift away. I think about lunch. I think about Saturday. I think maybe I can meet my friend after work. My hand keeps moving even when my mind is not fully there. And then it happens. The cutter slips. It cuts into my palm. A sharp, hot pain shoots up my arm. I freeze. My breath stops for a moment. I stare at my hand. I see a thin line at first, then a small river of red. "Oh no," I whisper. My hand shakes. The pain grows fast, like it wakes up all at once. I press my other hand on the cut, but the blood still comes out. I feel a sting, like fire under my skin. I walk out to the front. My steps are uneven. "Boss?" I say softly. He looks up, annoyed. "What now?" I hold up my hand. "I cut my hand. It hurts. I need a break," I say. My voice is small. He does not move. He does not come closer. He only says, "No break. We have many customers." I blink. Maybe he didn't hear me. I try again. "It is bleeding. I need a moment." He waves his hand like my words are flies. "Just clean it and work. We are busy." Something inside me sinks. My chest feels heavy. The pain in my hand grows stronger, but the pain in my heart grows too. I go to the sink. I turn on the water. The cold water hits the cut, and I bite my lip hard to stop myself from crying out. I watch the red swirl down the drain. I wrap my hand with a piece of tissue and some tape. It is not good, but it is all we have. The tissue turns red fast. I need to work. I need money. I need this job. So I go back to the boxes. I use one hand. My other hand stays close to my body. Every small movement hurts. Every item feels heavier than before. The store is noisy. Customers talk. Items fall. My boss gives orders. But it all feels far away. In my head, only one thought repeats again and again. Why am I still here? I take a slow breath. I tell myself, just finish today, just finish this shift. But deep down, a small voice whispers, something is wrong. This is not how work should feel. The day moves slowly. My hand hurts more now. The tissue wrap is wet and soft. It feels warm from the blood. I want to change it, but I have no time. Customers keep coming in, one after another. I try to lift a box with my good hand. It is heavy. I use my hurt hand a little, and pain jumps up my arm. I breathe in fast and sharp. My boss sees me moving slow. He frowns. He says, "Why so slow? Move faster." I bite my tongue. I do not want to fight. "I try," I say. "I really try." He shakes his head and walks away. I feel my chest tighten. I feel small, like I am shrinking into myself. I place items on shelves. My arm shakes. Sometimes I stop for a few seconds because the pain is so strong. I hope no one sees. A woman walks to me with a small basket. She looks at me kindly. "Miss, are you okay?" she asks. I smile fast, too fast. "I am fine," I say. She looks at my hand. The red tape is now darker and messy. She opens her mouth like she wants to say something, but she stays quiet. She pays and leaves. I feel her worry stay in the air even after she goes. I walk to the back room. I try to clean my hand again. The sink water is cold. When it touches my cut, I shake a little. "It is okay," I whisper to myself. "You can do this, just some hours left." But my eyes feel hot. I look away from the mirror because I do not want to see my tired face. A co-worker walks in. He is young, maybe 20. He sees my hand and his eyes go wide. "That looks bad," he says. I laugh softly. "Yeah, you should tell the boss again," he says. "You need help." "I told him," I say. "And?" "He said no," I answer. The co-worker looks angry for a moment, but he does not say more. He just pats my shoulder lightly and goes back to work. I feel a little warm in my chest from that small kindness. When I go to the front again, a familiar man is standing near the counter. He comes often. He buys simple things: soap, notebooks, tea. He always smiles at everyone. He sees my hand right away. "What happened?" he asks. "I cut my hand," I say, "but I am fine." His eyebrows move up. He does not believe me. "That looks serious," he says. I shake my head. "It is okay. I need to work." He looks at me for a long moment, like he is studying my face. I feel shy. I try to look busy, but my hand shakes again. He says quietly, "Be careful." His voice is soft but firm. I nod. "Thank you." He leaves, but his words stay with me. Around noon, my hand starts to throb with every heartbeat. The pain is deep now, not sharp. It feels like the cut is growing with each move I make. My fingers feel warm and stiff. I try to use my left hand for everything, but things fall, boxes slip. I make small mistakes. My boss hears something drop and comes out fast. "What are you doing?" he says loudly. "I am sorry," I say. He sighs loudly. "Do better. Customers are waiting." "Yes," I say. My voice sounds so small, I almost do not hear it myself. The day feels endless. Every minute feels like 10. Every task feels twice as hard. Every word from my boss feels heavy. I stand near the window for a moment, just to breathe. A small beam of sunlight touches my arm. I close my eyes. I imagine I am outside. I imagine I am free. But then someone calls my name and I open my eyes again. Back to work, back to pain. Back to this long, long day. And inside me, a quiet thought forms. How long can I keep going like this? The afternoon light grows dim. My hand feels heavy now. The pain is deeper, slower, but stronger. It sits inside my palm like a warm stone that will not move away. I try to take a box from the floor. The moment I lift it, a sharp pain hits me again. I drop the box before I can stop myself. My boss hears the sound. He walks out fast. "What was that?" he asks. My hand hurts," I say. My voice shakes a little. He crosses his arms. "You already said that. Work better." I feel something crack inside me. Not my hand. Something softer. Something deeper. I take a breath. "I need to go to the clinic," I say. "Please." He stares at me like I just said something impossible. "We have work," he says. "If you leave, don't come back." I freeze. My mind goes empty. No thoughts, no words. Just a loud sound inside my ears, like my heartbeat is knocking from the inside. "Don't come back," I repeat. "Yes," he says. "We need people who can work, not people who complain." People who complain. Is that what I am? Is pain a complaint? I look at my hand. The wrap is red again. The tape is loose. The blood is dry in some places, fresh in others. My fingers feel stiff. When I move them, I feel a pull in the skin around the cut. I swallow hard. I am not complaining, I say softly. I am hurt. He shakes his head. Everyone gets hurt. This is nothing. Nothing. My pain is nothing to him. A co-worker stands behind the counter. He looks at my hand, then at my boss. I see worry in his eyes. He walks to me quietly. He whispers, "You should go. Your hand looks bad, really bad." I nod a little. My throat feels tight. But then I think of rent. I think of bills. I think of how hard it was to get this job. I think of how long it took to feel even a little stable. If I lose this job, what then? My boss stands near the shelves, watching me like he is waiting for my answer. I try to keep my voice steady. "I just need 1 hour," I say. "I go to the clinic and come back." He lifts his chin. "No, you leave now. Then you are done. We don't need you." The words hit me hard. Done. Finished. Just like that. My eyes start to burn. I blink fast because I do not want to cry in front of him. "I worked here for 2 years, I say. "So," he says. "So, I try. I always try. And now you slow down. That's bad for business." I feel my whole body sink. I feel small again, smaller than ever. A customer steps into the store. The doorbell rings. The sound is soft, but it cuts through the tension. The customer looks at me. He sees my hand. He sees my face. He sees my boss standing in front of me with his arms crossed. He pauses for a moment, watching the scene like he walked into something private. Then he slowly walks away to another aisle. I stand still in the center of the store, not moving, not talking. My hand throbs. My head feels light. My breath feels shallow. I think, do I stay or do I walk out and lose everything? I look at my boss. He looks bored. He waits for my choice like he already knows it. My coworker looks at me too. His eyes say, "Go." My pain says, "Go." My pride says, "Go." But my fear holds my feet to the floor. I take one slow breath, then another. I open my mouth, ready to speak. But before I say anything, the store door opens again, and I see someone who will change everything. The door opens. The bell rings again. I look up. It is the familiar customer, the man who spoke to me kindly in the morning. He holds a small bag in his hand. He looks like he just came back from lunch. He walks in slowly. His eyes move from the shelves to me, to my hand. And I see it. His face changes. He walks straight to me. "Your hand," he says. "It is worse." His voice is calm, but I can feel worry in every word. I try to hide my hand behind my back, but he has already seen it. "I am fine," I say out of habit. He shakes his head. "No, you are not fine." My boss hears our voices and walks over. "What is this?" he asks. The man looks at him, then back at me. "She is hurt," he says. "She needs help." My boss rolls his eyes. "She works slow. That is the problem." The man lifts his eyebrows. "No," he says. "The problem is that she is bleeding at work and you do nothing." My heart beats hard. No one has ever spoken for me like this. My boss steps closer. "This is my store. Mind your own business." The man does not move back. He does not look afraid. He only says, slowly and clearly, "She needs medical help, now." My boss gets angry. His face turns red. "She can go," he says, "but she won't come back." He says it like a threat, but the man does not react like he expected. Instead, he takes out his phone. My boss freezes. "What are you doing?" he asks. The man looks at his screen. "I can call the labor office," he says. He says it lightly, but his voice is steady. "I can tell them an employee is injured and you refuse to let her seek help." The air stops. The store becomes silent. Even the customers look up. My boss's eyes grow wide. Hey, come on! No need for that. The man keeps holding his phone. He does not lower it. You sure? He says. My boss looks around. He feels people watching. He feels the pressure. And for the first time today, he looks unsure. He finally points at me. Fine, he says. Go. Just go. He says it like he is doing me a favor, but we all know he is afraid. I stand there for a second. I can't move. I am too shocked, too overwhelmed. The man turns to me. His voice softens. Come, he says. I take you to the clinic. My throat gets tight. You don't have to, I say. I know, he says, but someone should. I look at my hand. I look at him. I look at the door. Then I take a step forward. As I walk out of the store, I hear my coworker call out softly, "Take care." My boss says nothing. He only looks away. Maybe in shame, maybe in anger, maybe both. The sunlight outside hits my face. It feels warm, warmer than the store, warmer than the whole morning. I take a shaky breath. The man walks beside me, not too close, not too far, just enough to make me feel safe. For the first time today, I feel something other than pain. I feel relief, and something small, something soft growing inside me, a kind of hope. The walk to the clinic is short, but it feels long to me. My steps are slow. My hand throbs with every heartbeat. I hold it close to my chest, trying to stop the shaking. The man walks beside me in silence. It is not an empty silence. It is the kind that feels soft, like a blanket around my shoulders. When we reach the clinic, he pushes the door for me. Go in, he says. His voice is gentle. Inside, the air smells like medicine. It makes me a little dizzy. The nurse sees my hand and comes fast. Oh dear, she says. This is a deep cut. Why didn't you come sooner? I lower my eyes. I was working, I say. The nurse shakes her head. You should take care of yourself too, she says. Her words touch something inside me. Something tired. Something fragile. She cleans my hand. The water is warm and stings a little, but it feels safe, like someone finally sees me. The man waits in the corner. He stays quiet, but he watches every move carefully, like he wants to make sure I'm okay. The nurse stitches the cut slowly. Hold still, she says. I try, I whisper. When she finishes, she wraps a clean bandage around my hand. The white cloth feels soft. It almost feels like a second skin. I can breathe again. You cannot work today, the nurse says firmly. You should rest. No heavy things, no lifting, no pressure. I nod. When I step out of the clinic, the daylight looks different, brighter, softer, like the world has changed a little. The man stands by the door and asks, Are you okay? I look at my hand, then at him, and I nod. Yes, thank you. He shakes his head. You don't need to thank me. But I do, I say. No one else helped me today. He looks away for a moment, almost shy. Then he says, You deserve better. No one should work while they bleed. His words hit me deep, not because they are dramatic, but because they are simple, true, human. We walk toward the bus stop. My steps feel lighter now. So, he says, you will not go back there, right? I stop walking. The question hangs in the air. My heart beats faster. I don't know, I say. I need the job, I need the money, but... I look at my bandaged hand. But I don't want to feel like that again. He nods slowly. I understand, but sometimes pain tells us the truth. What truth? I ask. He looks at me with steady eyes. That you deserve a place where people care. I feel my eyes heat again, not from pain this time, but from something softer, something I have not felt in a long time. We reach the bus stop. I stand there holding my hurt hand close. He stands beside me quietly. "Thank you," I say again. "Really." He smiles. It is a small smile, but warm. "You will be okay," he says. "I know it." The bus arrives. I take a step forward, then pause. "Will I see you again?" I ask without thinking. My voice comes out small and honest. He laughs softly. "If you want to," he says. I nod, feeling shy. The door closes behind me. I watch him through the window until the bus turns the corner. I lean back in my seat. My hand hurts, but my heart feels lighter. The day was long. The pain was real. But something else is real too. A small light inside me. A tiny spark of courage.